questions for Coach?
First scrimmage of the fall on Saturday. We saw some highlights on social media, but I'm more curious, what you saw out of that scrimmage that needs to be improved between now and the first week, Coach.
Biggest thing is keeping the offensive line together. When we move these guys around, we move them around, and we have to do that, and we will do that. But then there comes a point where we need to settle down on 5 to 7 guys and lock them in so they can get that continuity playing together. I think that defensive line did some outstanding things. The linebackers is really good. A lot of competition on the back end with the defensive players, the secondary. Wide receiver-wise, we still need to do some things, although there were some really good plays that were made out there. And then, I thought the running backs, for the most part, were solid.
Speaking of the wide receivers, I know last year you had really wanted someone to come up as number 2 receiver behind Gadsden. Is that still kind of the philosophy for this year, or are you open to a more kind of by committee approach in the receiver?
No, I would love to find a number 2. I think a lot of guys are battling for that position. And when there's a 2, then we want to know who the 3 is and who the 4 is. That's how good receiving cores are. But we're still looking for that. I think there's some good battles going on.
Coach, just what you can say about what LeQuint being back here means to the entire team and to the culture here.
LeQuint is a part of us. He's part of the family, and like I said earlier, everybody needs grace and forgiveness, but where would we be without it? But the type of guy that you love lighting up with. He's the type of guy you like going out with. He's the type of guy that protects your family. I mean, he's a good guy, and we're glad he's a part of our football team.
When you see him and the rest of the running backs here, like you said, you just made a note about them coming off the scrimmage, just what that backfield does look like now, getting able to see them scrimmage.
I think with all of them that we've got a chance to have a good group. I think it's not going to be so much like it was last year, where it's one guy all the doggone time. There's going to be more people playing than it was in the last 2 years with Sean Tucker here. But I think as a group, they got a chance to be really good.
What went into your decision to bring Miles Farmer in from Nebraska?
We needed another player. We're always looking at the transfer portal for good players. We thought he was a good player, so we brought him in.
And given his history, he was suspended at the beginning of fall camp by Matt Rule out there at Nebraska. Is that something that you look into, finding out more details about that before you bring a player in?
Well, I'm not going to get into that. We kind of know what that was all about, and I think they know what it was all about. We feel good about our situation, and we do background checks on everybody we bring in to not only the Syracuse, but this university and the family.
What specifically are you guys doing to help Arande against double teams now that he's probably going to be facing his best?
We've been working on it since the day the season ended. Arande's been working on it since the day the season ended, and we're looking forward to attacking those double teams.
What is something he's doing specifically to kind of help him stay open throughout the game for Shrader?
The biggest thing is he needs to learn multiple positions. We can't line him up at one position, and we won't.
When the spring started, you mentioned Garrett was on a pitch count. Is he a full participant in the scrimmage, and does he have any limitations still?
No, he was not a full participant during the scrimmage, and he still really won't be until this week. There's a point where we really want to overwork his arm, and we're kind of at that point now, not over the pitch count, but we want to get him a little sore, and then we'll back him up. We've got to build strength in it, and the way to build strength in it is to fatigue it. Okay, so we're gonna work on that for the next week and a half, and then we'll get ready for our first game.
So it sounds like, it sounds like he still needs to develop some strength before the season starts.
We're in the strength developing part of it right now. Yes, sir.
Is a part of that meaning fatigue in the weight room, or are you straying away from that specifically?
Not the weight room, not with quarterbacks. No, we're talking about how many balls he gets on the football field and throwing through some soreness and waiting for that to recover.
So when you have Nunzio factor into your guys' recruiting plan?
Be more specific.
What is him adding him, the guy that knows New Jersey in the area, that's coached at Rutgers, how does he help you guys in what you're trying to do recruiting?
I think obviously that he has a lot of knowledge about New Jersey, which is an area that's very important to us. I think you can see the increase in guys that we've gotten from that area. There's other coaches as well that has ties to that area that are on our staff. If you do a little homework, you'll see that we've really put a major emphasis on that. And hopefully that's showing through our recruiting how serious we are about being good in that area.
Just so I'm clear, did Garrett participate in the scrimmage at all, or did he sit?
Yes.
Okay, just not full.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So Coach Braden Davis and Carlos Del Real Wilson, with Garrett not being able to be at full go for the scrimmage, what did you see from your other quarterbacks?
They moved the ball. They did some things well. They're obviously still making some minor mistakes, but they're getting more reps now than not only they got last year, they would have gotten. So this has been very interesting, and they are both healthy, okay, which means that they've got a chance to go through the entire season. So we're trying to figure out who's better, what can they do, what can they not do, just in case something happens to Garrett.
Maury Hatcher was just in sweatpants in backpack, just watching practice. What's any update on him?
He got an owie in practice, and he'll be back with us soon.
Did Stephen Thompson participate in the scrimmage at all? Because I saw him out there a little bit in team drill today, but he's obviously still in his green jersey.
Held from the very first scrimmage, and now he's up. Okay. Green, waiting for him to go white so that we can play.
Coach, can you talk about Enrique Cruz and just the leadership potential that he has on your team?
Yeah, he's got potential. One thing about being a leader is you got to play well, and we expect him to be one of our best players up front, and we need him to go out and do that every day.
What does the experience of somebody like Daryl Perkins add to a group that had a lot of turnover the last year and a half?
Well, I think that with all our coaches that we brought in here, I think they add to the group. And he's a very knowledgeable coach. He's worked with Coach Long before. And I think that relationship is strengthening everything that we're doing on the defensive side of the ball.
You know, what does it do for college football, kind of the state we're in right now, that you can bring in a player in the middle of fall camp and have that opportunity that when you need someone else and you need depth, you can do that in the world we're living in because the portal allows for that?
You know, that's outstanding and that's really good, but it also allows for, 6 players that are not on this football team that are playing at SEC schools and Big 12 schools and Big 10 schools across the country that you thought would be on this team. And it's a check and balance type system, and it's here to stay.
2 more for Coach. You mentioned the offensive line and sort of solidifying it earlier. Has Keenan Ellis been able to participate in anything?
He's participated. He's got an owie as well, and we're waiting for him to get better so that we can insert him back into the group.
Expect him during training camp at some point?
Yes, sir.
Are there any specific names that are kind of emerging with the wide receiver 2 position that are kind of battling for right now?
Kendall Long's been doing some really nice things. Damien's been making some extremely nice catches out there. Isaiah's had his moments. DeMarcus has had his moments as well. We're just looking for someone to be that next solid guy. And then Aronde, he comes to work every day.
Was Kendall's catch good live? Was it put on film?
They are live and they are on film, and they were very, very impressive.
Is Damien's eye okay?
Yeah, he should be fine.
Thanks, everybody.
Thanks, Coach.
Thanks, Coach.
Appreciate it.